Let's go across to our three guests, and this morning we have Radhika Gupta, Director for Front Capital Management, joining us for a fundamental view on certain stocks and sectors. Devang Visar, as always, will talk technicals, and Hemant Tukral will take us through the futures and options picture this morning. Good morning to all three of you. Radhika, you were smiling to that comment. Getting tough to jiggle around money right now?
It is getting tough. I think the markets are, playing in a range-bound area, and we remain sort of cautiously bullish. We're excited about the markets, but not raging bulls. Valuations have been on the expensive side. P/E ratio still trading in the 21-22 range, so that is looking expensive. But there has been positive momentum over the last couple of months, which is a good sign. What is a positive indicator for us is that interest rates are finally starting to pick up a little bit, which moderates some of the concerns we've had about food prices and inflation. And volatility is at an all-time low, which is a good sign. The big red flag for us remains the global cues, particularly what is happening in the big markets, the European crisis in those markets. So that remains a cause of concern for us, Chile earthquake. So we have to really see how that comes back and hits our market.
All right. Devang, technically, what is it that you're picking on this morning? You have some position trades coming in on PFC, Sterlite Industries, and Tata Power. Which would be the strongest position trade that you would initiate? PFC, starting off with that one?
I think PFC is a good pick. It's been outperforming the markets for quite a while and looks likely to regain its lost luster. It was one of the better performing stocks over the past 3-4 months. So I think that is one of the better picks. You could possibly look at a positional pick on PFC. But I think on net markets have been just holding on to resistance levels of 5150, 5180, and on the downside 5080, 5100 looks like a good support range. So if it's you're a Nifty trader, I guess buying on dips at around 5080, 5100 looks like a good bet right now.
Right. Devang, Hemant, Radhika, good morning to all of you. When I'll try and ask a fundamental question, Radhika, I'll try and frame it with how compelling the value is. And if we ask a technical and F&O question, I request you gentlemen to talk about whether you think at the end of the day any money is made out of it. So perhaps thought process is a little different. Radhika, good morning. One of the things we saw in December 2008, while everybody was panicking, that value was compelling. I mean, you didn't have to think. Yes. I mean, you got a hotel stock for 50 crores, but the hotels were worth 1,000 crores. So, the downside is, it's a brain dead kind of stock pick. Is it that simple? Do you have three compelling buys like that where, basically either the asset value is so great or the business fundamentals are so compelling, right, and the market's missed it. So, you have any such three stocks?
To your first point, yes, things were very compelling in 2008, but it's hard for someone to just look at valuations, even us as a fundamental person, You're not blind to the fact that the market is crashing, and there's a great element of greed and fear going on there. As far as specific stocks, there are a couple of stocks that we're excited about, partly from a valuations perspective and partly because the business itself looks attractive. I think Hero Honda is something we've been excited about for a while. There is growth we see in the two-wheeler segment, and Hero Honda has managed to keep about a 60% market share, and it's managed to retain that. With the last round of earnings, you're seeing about a 30% pickup in volumes. They're kind of ahead of the Bajaj's and TVS's of the world, and they've managed to grow volumes without sacrifice.
So what will you give me, 20-30% return by the end? I'm just looking at the stock prices return. You think I can get 20-30% out here?
I think in the next 3 to 6 months there is potential for capital appreciation, significant capital appreciation. I'll put it that way.
I don't know if they attach coupons for buying 30% discount on motorcycles or something. We'll see if that exists. Devang, good morning. From the perspective of where we stand right now, which was the way the market's heading, I wanted to take a couple of stocks and ask you if they would make any sense in buying or selling. Crane India, Sesa Goa, M&M Financial Services, and GVK Power.
I think out of all the three, I think M&M Financial Services looks like a good bet. M&M Financial Services on the weekly charts, etc. I think there is a good scope if you're an investor in this one. As to the other GVK Power, I think that is a distinct underperformer from this levels. And if you're a pair trader, you could possibly be short on GVK Power or and initiate a long position like long on Tata Power, short on GVK Power with an equal value basis. So I think that should be a good pair trade for you.
Right. Let's say I'm okay with taking risk, which is fine. I mean, if it runs into a freeze, I'm fine. If it is a risk, risk is a risk. Otherwise, I buy government bonds. So, do I day trade at the moment in small textile stocks and small financial stocks, Devang? Because that's where the gains seem to be coming. And do I go short on sugar? In a month, it's given 33% downside, more downside out there. So three sides: small textile, small financial stocks, and then a short perhaps on sugar. What's your strategy on these three, Devang? And again, as I said, risk is risk. I'm happy to take it. For me, TCS is risk and a small stock is risk. What do you do right now?
So I think, textile stocks, however alluring they may look on the chart, I mean,
Radhika, explain TCS as a stock recommendation this morning. I mean, are you looking at more from a pre-earnings trade or investment in the stock, given that we are stepping into earnings season, maybe just about 2 to 3 weeks from now? What's the sense really on the IT pack and specific to TCS?
We're bullish on the IT pack as a whole. We have been since, pre-last round of earnings, despite the concerns of the rupee. We think that the margins in the sector are looking up. Specifically, TCS is one of the stronger players in the IT pack. There's a lot of business visibility that's coming in. Their top 10 clients are adding a lot more to their top line now. Their top 1 client is contributing about 10% more to the top line. A significant portion of TCS's business has moved offshore. A lot of their revenues were falling onshore, but they're picking up offshore, which is the last round of earnings. You're seeing...
But their exposure to the UK is a bit of a concern.
Their exposure to the UK is a little bit of a concern, but it's moderated by the fact that they have planes in a number of other major markets.
Right. Radhika, I just want to get a question. Whenever I look at technology, it just kind of gets me nervous. Ramping up a number of employees, UK business, the rupee. I mean, these guys have gotten this down to some science as to how this is. But what concerns me here is that there's very little money to make because you've got 700 analysts talking the same terminology.
Yes.
Do you have to be in technology, or can you find something like our Archie's where we don't talk about what the ramp up of the stores were, how many employees they added, and that's why the stock just kind of drifts around.
No,
my only concern with the TCS is, will the stock price give you anything, or is everything already there?
No, I think the stock price has room to go, although I am concerned. They've added about 5,000 employees. I think about 1,800 came from IIT. They just recruited a bunch of guys. So that is a concern for TCS. What's good for software is that a number of verticals which were kind of depressed, software spending in life sciences, pharma, manufacturing. I think manufacturing made up about 20% of TCS's business. Right. That's picking up again. So that's why I'm excited about software.
Sure. I'm just wondering if these guys are paying taxes now, Tanvir. I guess they've had too long a holiday.
They have lost money on the rupee.
Well, a little bit extra maybe this time around with the MAT hike coming in, but we'll take a very short break. When we come back, still talking to our 3 guests about more stocks.
This show brought to you by Skoda,